Okay, YouTube, this is a video review I'm doing of my X10 home automation system. X10 is a company that makes a product for controlling with a wireless remote your lighting and appliances around your house. They're really inexpensive. You can almost outfit most of the lights in your house. I think I spent for all the wall switches they're actually wired in probably about a couple $100 to do everything really. Go ahead and take on over to example of one of the wall switches. If I can find the wall switches. Here's one I have here for the bedroom lights. And they're real basic, they're real nice. I mean, they look a lot better than your average flip switches, which if you were to go into Lowe's or Home Depot and price out some switches like this, anything that's been, like a rocker switch or something that just looks really nice, you'd find that they're pretty expensive, and these are probably about half the price. Here's a few I have downstairs. They actually have a kill switch on the bottom here where you can actually turn the whole switch off and you keep it on, and then of course they're push button. The great thing about the in-wall ones, they look like anything else, and you can control these with your remote. You just go ahead and set the device code on these, and you set the number code for the actual system. So you'd have, let's say your system was set up to run on code A or B. You'd set the remote up here on the bottom, A through, I believe that's O or P. You can set the actual house code. I have mine set to A. You go ahead and set that code to A, and then on the switch you'd set that code, and then each one has a number. So for instance, this particular one in my house, this one here, if I push it, will control the lights up here, the halogens. And if I go ahead and press the button on the remote control for 2, we can turn it on, we can turn it off, we can turn it on, and we also have a dimming feature. So we can turn that light on, you can dim it down. As you can see. Let's go ahead and turn that off again. Whoops. These are really great. So I have most of my house outfitted with these. You also have appliance modules and other lighting modules. The only difference between the appliance modules and the lighting modules is that the appliance ones allow you, and they look just like this. Mine are kind of tucked away behind couches, but they look just like this, but they don't have that antenna on there. This is actually your transceiver module, and what this does, this receives the signal from the remote, and it sends it through the house wiring, and it controls each device, and it actually, all that signal comes through the house wiring. So the only thing happening wireless is between the remote and of course the transceiver module. After that, all that signal goes through the wiring to the switch, and depending on what code you have set and what button you press, it'll control that light. But the appliance modules and the lighting modules look exactly like this, but without the antenna. And the only difference is the appliance modules are designed for more wattage items, such as like an appliance, like a ceiling fan. And they don't dim. The dimming modules, or the lamp modules, actually allow you dimming capabilities. So let's say you want to have your coffee pot, which I had mine wired like that. I just wake up in the morning, have my coffee pot ready to go, plug in an appliance module, hit the button, and I start my coffee brewing. A lot of people have coffee pots that have the timer. I do not. So that's a nice way of doing it. Plus, you can kind of sleep in. It's not set for a specific time. So we'll go on up here. And you can see I have, in this instance, I have my ceiling fan wired into number 1. Turn that on. And turn it off. And these are really great. And like I said, they're really affordable. You could outfit like a whole house like mine. I swear I think I only paid probably about, I don't even know if it was a couple $100. It was so long ago. The switches, the X10 has really great deals for you to pick up this stuff and package deals. And I tell you, it's a lot cheaper than going to Lowe's and even buying a dimmer. The other cool thing to do with these things, you can hook them up to a fireplace. You just have to get one of the modules that actually has the one that's rated for something like this fireplace draws 1200 watts, so you have to have the right one there so you don't damage the module and don't cause any kind of problems. Let's see what else. These things also wire into an X10 alarm system. And what will happen is, for instance, you have different window sensors. Like here's one here on mine. And what happens is when you set the alarm remotely as well, it actually arms the base station, which is hooked up to a phone line. And then in the event that you do have a breach in one of those sensors, it'll go ahead and sound an audible alarm that I have hidden in the house plugged into a wall. Okay, and for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to show you what they look like. And you can get several of them. And these are hooked up to a different house code as well. Here they are there. They're extremely loud. I have several. This one here I normally have in a different location. I have several throughout the house and one outside. So when the alarm goes off, if and when the alarm goes off, excuse me, it actually sirens on the inside and the outside. I also have a different one set up with a keychain remote. And what that does is that, let's say I'm going to my car or going out to get the mail or whatever, I can actually trigger that and just turn on that one. Here's a keychain remote. So before I come home at night, I can turn on some inside lights so I'm not walking into the dark. And it's like a panic mode button. So if I have any kind of problem, I can go ahead and hit another button and it sounds that alarm and get some attention. In addition, once the alarm is set, and let's say there is a breach, once the alarm goes off, you can program the device to actually dial several numbers. So what I do is I have it dialing my number first, my cell number, with a pre-recorded message telling me that, hey, you know, you got a breach in one of your sensors on one of your windows, or in this case, I also have a motion sensor set up, which gets the entire downstairs. And also, being that it's a whole X10 system, when the alarm goes off, I have it set to flash certain lights. It'll flash lights at different intervals where I want them to draw attention to the house. The other cool thing that these X10 devices have are motion sensors. So we'll walk into the bathroom here, and the lights come on. And I have set up here a motion sensor. These are dual functional. One code they'll send two codes. One to detect motion and turn on a light. As you can see, I have the switch right there. Okay. And then the other one is set up to actually turn on lights at dusk and turn them off again in the morning. So I have several lights throughout the house set up that when, you know, it's great for conserving power too. So at night it gets dark, it turns on certain lights. Morning they turn off. So it's real nice. It's a good security feature. And X10 makes tons of products that work with this stuff. They have remote controls for the TV that integrate these type of remotes. They have smaller remotes. They have wall-mounted sticky remotes. I actually had a remote set up near my bed. I have to replace the battery. That allows me to go ahead and turn on that, you know, one of my bedroom lights and dim them right from bed. So it's like adding a wall switch, you know, right on your headboard, which is real convenient. The other thing I have here is a program for my iPhone called the X10 Commander, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's really basic. You go ahead and install this program, the X10 Commander Suite, on your computer, and you link up, you list your devices that you want to control. You enter the device ID, see the A, that's the house code of the device type, and you can enable them there. And what happens when you check that box, these codes will actually be synced to your iPod. Now to do this, you have to have, of course, a computer. And I have this device here plugged into the wall. That large box is hooked up via USB to my computer. What happens is, once the computer gets a signal to turn on a light, a specific light, it sends a signal to that X10 box, which converts that signal to a power line signal that goes throughout the house and triggers the device. There is also a whole X10 Commander Suite that I have hooked up to my, that's from the X10 company. It's hooked up to my security cameras and, of course, all the lights. So I can do all of this from a desktop suite as well. I don't have that running right now because I just got a new computer and it seems to have problems with running with Windows 7 at the moment. But I'm sure those will get corrected. And it's cool. I could actually have it record my or cycle between my cameras, record cameras. You can use those motion sensors to actually start recording on a specific camera. Let's say you have one near your front door, and whenever anybody walks up, you want a light to come on and a camera to record. You can set all that, and this stuff's really easy to configure. Okay, so that's that. Now that's the command. This is the commander for the iPhone. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and open up my it's for the iPod as well. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Okay, so here you go, and there's the X10 right there. You press that button, and it's going to pull up all the devices that we have enabled from here. Now in this case, unfortunately, it's not showing any devices because I just changed the password from the desktop suite to the iPhone. But what would happen is normally this would list all these, and then I have the same features as a remote. So I always have this with me. You can get this to work from a distance, but you have to know how to forward ports and stuff, and it gets a little more complicated, something you have to do within the router. But for around the house, this works perfect. I also have my whole outdoor lighting system hooked up, where I have all the Christmas lights and all that backyard entertaining stuff hooked up to an X10 device. I can just turn those on remotely, and they all kick on. You know, anything with a power source that's powered or plugs into a wall outlet, you can use with the X10 system. They also make wall outlets. I don't have any because I don't, I like the ones you plug in because you can move them around. But if you did want to outfit your entire house, you can get the wall outlets too, and they'll look just like your standard wall outlet. But down here, they'll have the house code and device number. So again, that's a review of my X10 lighting system. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's more informational. There's not a lot of other things in it than the devices and of course the remote. But check out the website if you want to order any of this stuff. You can also find their items on eBay, and I'm sure there's going to be an advertisement within this ad. If you have any questions about hooking this stuff up or anything like that, don't hesitate to drop me an email or a comment. Again, thank you for your I guess time in watching my video. And man, I tell you, go ahead and get these X10 devices. If you were to go to, don't buy them at Lowe's though, or any of those other places. Buy them through the website because Lowe's puts quite a markup on them. Oh, one more thing before I forgot. If you do have a two-way switch, you will need a specific one. As you can see, this one here has, all it is a push button. It doesn't have any of the kill switch here, and it doesn't have the device code. So this one here, I have a two-way switch from here and the one downstairs. And so all that really is just it replaces the normal one you would have there. Something to do with the circuitry with these things. You have to have, you can't just have the regular switch. You have to have their specific switch on a two-way, and they make them for three-way as well. So again, that's my video. Thanks for watching. Take care.